back to the important part, which is our guest today. And he is Dave, like I said at the beginning, is the CEO of the Special Olympics of Illinois. And he has been working hard for this organization since 1998. I did a little digging before you came on, but I think that's a super long time and shows so much dedication, Dave, of commitment and to working with such a valuable organization. So thank you so much for doing that and also for joining us today. I personally have been volunteering at the Special Olympics, like I mentioned before we came on live here, with my son John since he was 8. I wanted him to start volunteering, and so we always help out at the swimming portion of the event since I grew up swimming and was a swim coach for many years, and John was swimming at the time. And I just remember the lasting impact and the memories it made for us as volunteers at the events. So I can only imagine what effect and what great memories and positive growth it's created and lasting friendships for the athletes and the coaches and people that work on it all year like yourself. So thank you to you and everyone that contributes to that I think it's an important cause. So.
Yeah, well, thank you both for having us on. And it is about family, it's about community. And especially, Adrianne, as you were talking about bringing your family, and just really appreciate you and Casey thinking about us and making us a focal point for your show, for one, but also just getting the message out, because it is about awareness and it's about our athletes' abilities, not their disabilities. So thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. And actually after this is filmed, we're recording it. So we will edit down the stuff with the drinks and other stuff and have a community spotlight feature on our YouTube page that just focuses on the important stuff, right? The Special Olympics and the thing we're spotlighting this month. So, so Dave, do you mind telling us when the Special Olympics was founded, how long it's, been around? And
well, I'm a couple of years older than the Special Olympics, but it started in 1968 on July 20th, actually, at Soldier Field in Chicago. So in Illinois, we're pretty proud of that history, and have been here in Normal at the headquarters since 1977. So a lot of Illinois history, and that's where it started, at Soldier Field. And now there's an eternal flame that we put up in 2018 to mark the 50th anniversary of Special Olympics. So it's still burning brightly there on the northwest side of the stadium.
Wow. Now that's where the flame comes from for the parade, is it? Parade here?
Yeah, it will be now going forward from 2018. It will be.
Oh, wow.
And we'll light all the other things too, except for World Games are lit by the flame at Mount Olympus in Greece. So our Special Olympics World Games are every 2 years. We sent a delegation to Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates in 2019. And then we will actually be going to Russia at the beginning of 2022 for the World Winter Games in Kazan, Russia. And then we'll have a delegation going to Berlin, Germany for the 2023 World Summer Games. So those are lit by Mount Olympus in Greece, just like the Olympics.
Wow.
But everything else is lit by Chicago. So
that's awesome.
So all the other states are lit by Chicago here?
Correct. If they want to do an opening ceremonies officially, they come to Chicago and light from the Flame of Hope.
That's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
So how long so you already answered, the headquarters have been in Normal since 77. So in Illinois, do we have a winter game and a summer game? I'm familiar with the summer games, obviously, because that's when we do the big parade and with volunteering at swimming. That's the only one we do in Illinois, right?
Yeah. So I won't say this a bunch of times because you guys, I'm sure, are sick of it. In a normal year, we have about 400 events.
Normal year. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have a normal year again, but we have about 400 events. We have 10 state championships, which Summer Games is our largest. We have about 4,200 athletes that come to Normal. We've got about 2,200 volunteers like yourself that help us out for that whole weekend. But then we have a Winter Games in Galena every year, which is one of my favorite events. Snowshoeing, downhill skiing, cross-country skiing. So we have that at Galena, and then we have 8 other championships that are around the state throughout the year. So a lot of stuff going on during the year.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So other than the summer games and the winter games here in Illinois and then the World Games, what other types of events, services, programs does the Special Olympics offer, both of Illinois or just as a whole?
So we really have tried to offer things from beginning at 2 years of age. So we do a young athletes program, which is for individuals with and without disabilities working together, ages 2 to 7. And then we do one of the programs I was just talking about with some of our congressional leaders was Unified Champion Schools. So we have a very active group in Unit 5. We have a very active group up in Pontiac. And Unified Champion Schools, we have about 340 schools in Illinois. And again, it's individuals with and without disabilities working together on youth activation and leadership. They play sports together in what we call unified sports. My shirt today is Play Unified. So it's really getting individuals like yourself to work with our athletes and play sports with our athletes. And then we do other things like athlete leadership. It probably would have been much better to have one of our athlete leaders, global messengers, come on and speak instead of me. But unfortunately,
I'm sure you know the company pretty well being there, our organization pretty well being there that long.
So we do global messenger training and we do 20 different sports throughout the year. And then one of our biggest programs, we're now the #1 organization for health for individuals with intellectual disabilities. So we do a lot of different screenings, physical screenings, hearing, opening eyes. We give about 600 pairs of glasses away with free eye exams every year. So there's a lot more to Special
Olympics. A lot of moving parts.
What's that?
That's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, we like to stay busy. It keeps us out of trouble. Probably keeps us from grabbing the Prosecco and stuff like that.
Hey, we're plenty busy. No, I'm just teasing. All right.
So what drew you to the organization?
Well, you know, what's drawn me and has caused me to stay is it's a long story, but I won't bore you with all the details. But, you know, when I was really little, when I was 5, I lived on a farm and there happened to be a young man that lived about 2 miles away and he had Down syndrome. And I was pretty scared of Brian when I first met him. And my mom kind of grabbed me and said, you know, Brian really wants the same things you want, and he wants a friend. And that kind of stuck with me through high school, and in college I started coaching. When I went to Illinois State, I started coaching individuals in Special Olympics and fell in love with their courage and their joy and just their tenacity of overcoming obstacles. Yeah. And I said, you know what, if they can have that much courage and that much fun, I'm in. So I've been here ever since.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And then, like, on average, how much does it cost to operate every year?
With all your
programs, like.
Yeah, so with all the programs that we're doing, it costs anywhere between 14 to 19 million a year. We have 23,000 athletes, 15,000 young athletes. And I say that because usually it's about 14 million in cash and then about another 5 million in kind, where the community really comes out to support us, and everything from, you know, providing food and officials to facilities to the different things that we need to put on the 400 events that we do every year. So it's about 14 to 17 million in a normal year.
And then, like, where does the funding come from?
Yeah, a big part of our funding, you know, really a very, very small portion of it comes from the Federal Department of Education, which is about 400,000. The rest comes from events. Like, if you guys see we're doing something different this year, but it's, you know, the Polar Plunge. We have a big presence from Law Enforcement Torch Run. We put on probably about 150 fundraising events throughout the year. to help raise all of that money, because it's all private. It's all from individuals like yourselves, and it's from people like you guys. Both of you are putting on a program to help raise funds and awareness for Special Olympics. So it is very, very community based.
So can they go to your website and see a list of all the different fundraisers going on and stuff if people want to get involved?
Yeah, you know, everything from if they go to the easiest part is just Googling, because it's hard for me to say www.soill.org. But if you Google Special Olympics Illinois, so like right now we've got a Queen of Hearts raffle going on digitally. Tonight there's a trivia night for those that know The Office, the sitcom. That's what tonight's trivia is. So we have about 200 people coming to a virtual trivia night tonight, which is a blast, actually. So we're always trying to think of new and different things.
Yeah, I saw the Queen of Hearts. I'm like, oh, I should get in on this.
I know you guys are probably all booked up, or we could just keep drinking our Prosecco and playing trivia instead of going back to work.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then like, how is working at this special, like, how has it impacted you in the connection with our community?
It's gotten me to know the community a lot better, which is great. I think that's how it's impacted me, but I think, what the impact has also been is individuals that come to Special Olympics or participate with Special Olympics, they get to know community members, and then those community members who own businesses hire individuals with intellectual disabilities. And I think that's been one of the biggest keys, is they start to care about them, they understand them as an individual, and they see the talents that they have, which, I think is really the key connector with communities, is they get to know them as people and get to see the abilities they have, like I said before, instead of the disabilities.
Sure. That's awesome.
That is awesome. And then what challenges have you guys faced with the pandemic?
Probably like everybody else. Yeah. And I think you may have referenced this, but normally our population is pretty isolated a lot of times and marginalized at times. And I think that's what's caused the biggest problem now, because they're so used to now the community really welcoming them, and now they've kind of taken a few steps back. We've done a ton of stuff. We actually have done some virtual fitness activities. We've had 3 different dances. Our athletes do love to dance. So we've had about 11,000 people show up to 3 different dances, where we've actually hired a DJ to come on and do the music and everything.
Oh.
But really what we're trying to do is get people up and moving, and being creative.
Yeah. So how can someone go about getting involved so they can, like, aside from volunteering at the games like I've done in the past, or donating like we're doing this month, what are some other things that people can do to help the cause out?
I think a big part, as you guys have mentioned, going to our website. I think telling people about it, if you're in a school, or you participate with a local civic or fraternal, like Casey, you were talking about, I think your grandfather being with the American Legion, they've been a huge supporter of us throughout the year. So just telling people about it, telling people about the athletes that we serve, and that it's a huge population that love to do sports, but they love to do a lot of different things. You can play unified. I stink at golf, but I play with other people that don't do well at golf, but like our athletes, we've got some that are really good golfers. We had a golfer shoot 74 at Duke's course during the World Games. So to be a unified partner is another way to get involved. If you have a love for a sport and you can match up with one of our athletes, that's an awesome opportunity to be involved.
And what's your favorite part of the job? And I know you've touched on it a little, but I mean, obviously we asked what drew you there, but what's kept you there, or what do you just love about what you do with work every day?
It's a variety, and I get to talk to people like you, because it's so cool, because you get to know where people have motivation. Both of you have done things and certainly have participated at summer games. But the athletes are the driving force. The athletes are what keep me going for the last 30 years, because they're probably the most honest, evolved people I know, because they will tell me when there's not much I can do with my hair, but they'll tell me it's bad if it's bad. And that's what I love. I love the honesty and I just love their courage and their dedication to sport.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this great insight with us. Like I said, after this, we'll kind of edit this, our kind of beginning and end down and get it into a nice YouTube version and help spread the word. We will also, we've already put on our Facebook page, I added it today, a fundraising tab. So anybody watching or that watches that wants to donate and add to what we'll be contributing for the month, we would love to have you either go to our page and click on the link, or you could go straight to the Special Olympics page and there's a link there to donate, or you could drop off a check to us.
Yeah.
And we can make sure it gets to where it needs to go. And of course, Dave, every time you have events, we'd love for you to, we can go to the page and look, but if you have something you need any help with, reach out. We'd love to reach out to our audience and let them know, hey, this fundraiser is coming up.
No, I
like trivia night and things like that. And it's easy, right? Everybody's stuck at home and it's something fun to do. And so we would love to help continue to share that outside of just the month of February.
Yeah. Well, no, and we would too. We would love to link to your page with our website. And then we have the sign out front of our headquarters that if you guys have something you'd like for us to put on it, about 1 million eyes get on that every year. Because they all drive by Willow.
Yeah, it's a busy street right there. My mom lives right by there, and Casey lives not too far from there. I drive by it
every day.
If you've got something you want us to put up on that, we'd love to do that for the month, or whatever you guys.
Oh, that'd be great. We seriously appreciate that, because our biggest thing is just getting the word out there about all these great organizations in town and working together, right, to make where we live a great place to live.